Hello and welcome to another edition of Ask Cheeky. This week we have a really good question from Aaron Dean. I am in my last year of graduate school, hopefully, and I have been applying to industry jobs. I recently got an offer, that's good news, but I don't have a thesis defense date set yet. My advisor is reluctant to support me in setting a date at this time, and my thesis committee is reluctant to go against my advisor's recommendation. What can I do? Do I turn down the job? So this is a great question, and it's something that happens a lot. Now, as a PhD student, you have to realize, and this is probably something you've noticed in academia, is that there's always some friction that develops between an advisor, and very often, not all the times, but very often, there's friction that develops between an advisor and a PhD student. As a PhD student gets trained, right, the advisor's invested a lot into this PhD student, and right when they get good in the lab, the PhD student is ready to leave and to graduate. So this causes some friction. Now, you might think that being quiet and doing what you're told, just waiting around, is the best solution, especially if you want to transition into industry, right? You might think that not voicing this fact that you want to go into industry is what you should do. And that's for sure the case in the first few years of graduate school. But once you enter your last year to what you hope to be your last year, you've gone through your comprehensive exam or gone past that 2-year master's degree point, you want to start pushing to advance your career. And you want to start setting strong boundaries, making sure you're going to networking events and setting time aside for that. And you have to openly communicate this. And that's the key here. So again, don't isolate yourself. Don't not talk about what you want to do. Once you have a job position open to you, a job offer, it's time to go to your PI, your advisor, no matter how difficult it is, and tell them about the offer. And don't stop there. Make sure that you go to your department and tell them about the offer too. Sit down with each of your thesis committee members separately and tell them as well. Remember that the whole job of your PhD training in graduate school is to help advance your career. In fact, if you look at your graduate student handbook or the graduate student rules or whatever they have, I guarantee you'll find some bylines or whatever they're called at your university, which state that your advisor needs to help advance your career and cannot hold back your career, right? And you get to decide what your career is. So if your advisor stops supporting you, is reluctant to support you in front of your thesis committee or to let you go, or thinks that you're not ready to graduate, and you're at that final year point, you've gone past the master's degree, realize there's very little they can do to hold you back. They can make you uncomfortable. They can try to intimidate you. But if you're open and transparent and you start talking to as many people as possible, don't just stop at your department either. Go to the dean of the graduate college as well. Talk to as many people as you can. Tell them about the offer that you have, your intentions, how you want to transition, and then keep records too, right? Because again, your advisor has to support your career. That's required of them as being in that professorship role, as put in the bylines in the graduate student handbook. So do your research. Make sure that you're organized, you're well informed. Make sure you're transparent, you're open, you're talking to other people about what's happening. Don't just rely on your advisor, right? You don't need their recommendation in industry. Certainly, you don't need it if you already have a job offer. So make sure that you're sticking up for yourself, you're standing up for yourself and for your career. So again, just to sum up, keep records. So when you start having meetings with your advisor, start tracking your progress, track any milestones that they give you. Make sure you note whether or not they're supportive. Make sure you meet with the department heads. Make sure you meet with the dean of the graduate school, your thesis committee, all of these people. Make your intentions known as much as possible, and stand up for yourself and set those strong boundaries. So until next time, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.